Welcome into Colts Talk by Chat Sports. All the latest news and rumors happening with the Indianapolis Colts. Billy Beebe back with you. And boy, have we gotten some news. Most of it, Michael Pittman Jr. sitting down on Super Bowl Radio Row and giving some comments on Alec Pierce, on Daniel Jones. We're talking contracts all over the place for the Colts. And then this week, with the busyness of the sort of NFL season, if that's how you want to put it, we got more info on Jim Bob Cooter, the Colts offensive coordinator, his standing with the team, and what we're kind of looking at going forward with Jim Bob Cooter, which I think really, really matters right now for the Colts because that was heating up. We kept you up to date here on Colts Talk, so we wanted to continue to do so on today's show. But first, hit that sub button. You hit that button for free, and you are getting so much free information on the Indianapolis Colts, what I think is your favorite team or one of your favorite teams in the NFL. News and rumors, you got trades, free agency, draft, and more we'll be covering. Of course, we're always asking you guys questions, hearing from you down in the comment section. We're now over 1,000 subscribers, so we want you to be a part of that. And the key here, more subs is always going to equal more videos, guys. That is like the main thing I can stress to you is you want more out of this channel, you want more Colts content, it's always going to come down to more subs. So we'd love to have you guys subscribe to the channel. All right, Alec Pierce. This is a guy so many of you get into the comment section. Speaking of hearing from you, in the comment section, day after day after day, you guys are always hitting on, figure out Alec Pierce. We need to get Alec Pierce back. Get the deal done. You know, we were having light arguments about if he's a number one type of receiver or not. We haven't really heard anything else, honestly, about Alec Pierce. So it was kind of nice. Michael Pittman Jr. sitting down with Dave Helman of the Athletic Football Show, he talked about Daniel Jones, which we'll get to, but he talked about Alec Pierce and where Alec Pierce is kind of at, you know, standing-wise, what's going to happen, coming up with his looming, I guess not looming, he's in his free agency. So Alec Pierce, first it was Dave Helman's comment I thought was really, really interesting on that. He said, yeah, my guy Alec Pierce has a contract coming up, and Dave Helman cut him off. He said, I think the average NFL fan is going to freak out when they see the deal that Alec Pierce is going to get here in a little while. That was from Dave Helman of The Athletic. And then, you know, Pittman immediately jumped in and responded and said, Alec is worth a lot of money, so don't be shocked when you see something crazy. And that's kind of the vibe right now is what's Alec Pierce going to get in this market, in this day and age in the NFL. It's a really good question to wonder what a guy like Alec Pierce is going to get. He's played really well for Indianapolis. Those guys chopping it up on the Athletic Football Show. One of the bigger things that they hit on in that one was 47 catches for over 1,000 yards. How impressive that really is. They went into detail just so much about, you know, that number and those numbers, and even the 37 for 824, and then to get better. They were just so impressed and talking about how good Alec Pierce is. And I think Colts fans know how good he is. Colts fans talk about wanting him back. But those two guys hitting on how much money Alec Pierce is looking to get coming up. As usual, we want to hear from you guys in this discussion. Will Alec Pierce be back on the Colts for the 2026 season? Will he be on the Colts in 2026? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. These are the tough questions. But hey, like I said, we like to hear from you guys on this. We want to know what you're thinking on this, so let us know down below. All right, the projection right now, the market value for Alec Pierce, it is a lot. I don't know if I personally would have predicted $20 million. I think that is so much money for a guy like Alec Pierce. But hey, you guys have talked about it. We've talked about it. This is a guy you want back. You kind of need back. And I think there's a lot of pressure on the Colts to run it back after what they did last season. So you're looking at about $20 million a year over 4 years to get Alec Pierce back. And that's not a hometown discount. That's just market value for Alec Pierce. Now, the way those guys were talking, I did kind of think it's interesting. Is that the lot of money that Dave Helman and Michael Pittman were talking about? Or is it more like this? George Pickens, 4 years, $122 million, more towards $40 million a year. Is that more what we're talking about when those guys are saying fans are going to be shocked with what Alec Pierce gets paid? Alec Pierce is going to turn a lot of heads with the amount of money that he's about to make. That is what was interesting to me in that situation was those guys talking about how much are we discussing when we're saying, oh, he's going to make a ton of money, a surprising amount of money. I wonder kind of where they're at with that money projection. So could be 20 million, could be 30, 40 million, could be, somewhere down in between. Pickens at 30 million a year ish range projected market value. Who knows where it could shake out for Pierce. I wonder if it'll be more towards what is projected or if it's more towards Pickens. We also got comments from Michael Pittman Jr. on Daniel Jones, who's another guy. Is he coming back? Are they re-signing Daniel Jones, right? That's definitely I don't know how much of like a hot debate, but definitely something Colts fans are very interested in and watching, and we're going to keep you updated here on Chat Sports about it. So Pittman's discussion, and he gave a lot of love to Daniel Jones in general on this one. And we've broken down the stats for you. We've broken down the idea of bringing Daniel Jones back and whatnot and talking more and more about him. Here, Michael Pittman Jr. saying, I really think that he's the guy here. I think that he should be, and I think that they're going to do everything they can to try and make it happen, which you got to really, really respect, right, with Daniel Jones, because, you like what he's done for you on the Colts, and you'd like to see that continue. I know this is a guy that a lot of fans really have enjoyed watching play. I know it's a guy that a lot of fans want back desperately, and it kind of feels good in a way, right, to see your well-known wide receiver fighting to get Daniel Jones back for another season. An unfortunate end to how it ended last year for Daniel Jones and the Colts, and I think that might be the biggest draw to get him back and for Jones to come back and to pay him is they didn't get a full season with the way they were playing. They were very, very excited with the way they were playing, and well-deserved, mention with it. He obviously was playing really well, and the Colts were playing really well, so you'd like another chance at getting Daniel Jones back with the Colts next season. Predict it now. Percent chance the Colts re-sign Daniel Jones. Give me a percentage down below. I'm feeling good about it. I know a lot of fans are feeling good about it, but I do always like to kind of gauge your guys' temperature as far as how likely something is to happen, such as re-signing Daniel Jones. So let me know down below. That brings me to a point I did just kind of want to make about free agency, and if you watch us here on Colts Talk, I have talked about this multiple times before, and the big thing here, guys, is it's going to be a crazy free agency. We've talked about Joey Bosa, a Trey Hendrickson. I know a lot of you want to get in the mix for Max Crosby. That's a trade, not free agency. So you have to take care of these two big names first, right? Your starting quarterback and a guy like Alec Pierce who easily could leave for a lot of money, but you want him back. Free agency is going to be pretty busy for Indy. They're going to have to start off, right, with a guy like Alec Pierce and a guy like Daniel Jones. You're going to have to start off getting those guys back and trying to figure out a way to get them back in the fold for an appropriate amount of money. Then you try for a Joey Bosa, Trey Hendrickson, Hassan Reddick. Free agency needs, cut candidates are a big thing right now. We put up that video the other day. You can go check out. It's going to be a very busy free agency for the Colts. Again, a good reason to subscribe and stay tuned with Colts Talk. Finishing out the show, keeping you up to date, letting you know what's going on in the world of the Indianapolis Colts, and a big one right now, Jim Bob Cooter, the offensive coordinator. We have discussed him before. The job market for him was really heating up for a second there, right? Really heating up. He was talking with the Eagles, who he had a good connection with Nick Sirianni, Steichen, Cooter. They're all connected. And then the Giants, late in the game, kind of weren't getting their candidates, so they went to Jim Bob Cooter and got him in the mix and wanted him to be a part of their team. Well, at this point in time, those jobs are gone. Both those jobs are gone. Sean Mannion was hired by the Eagles to be their offensive coordinator next season, and the Giants bring in Matt Nagy. That one kind of a huge surprise, but again, it's about going from not calling plays in KC and these other places and then going to calling plays, right, for a team like the Giants who obviously have a new head coach. What does that mean for Jim Bob Cooter? Essentially, he's back, right? The teams that had interest in him, they filled their spots. There's not any really open offensive coordinator jobs left in the NFL. So Jim Bob Cooter going to be back with the Colts, it looks like, in 2026. If you are happy about this, good to have your offensive staff back. No real crazy changes. Jim Bob Cooter back with the Colts, it looks like, for 2026. If you're happy to see it, hit that thumbs up button right now.